Welcome to the Answer is Yes podcast, where we interview some of the most interesting people that have said yes to opportunities in their life. We hope that through these stories, you can learn to create your own destiny by saying yes along the way. Join us as we explore the new series covering topics such as passion, integrity, and hard work. I'm your host, Jim Riley, and I hope you enjoy these interviews as much as I do. I believe that everyone has an important message worth hearing. Hello and welcome to the Answer Yes podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, if you're not subscribed to Andy Frisella's e-newsletter that he sends out every day, it's great little tidbits. If you don't know Andy Frisella, he owns First Forum. He's got the Arte Syndicate with Ed Milet. I've been a member since 2019, but sometimes he'll send over a little tidbit that just resonates well with some of the people I'm working with. I've got a great client in the life coaching side that he always talks about this little voice talking him out of doing things or making the call or getting the business. And this came in from Andy the other day. It's just real quick. It says, you are in control. When that little voice in your head starts talking shit, teach yourself to use it as a trigger to do the exact opposite of what it's telling you. Most of you wonder why some people have it and you don't. Well, here's why. When the weak little voice in their head tells them to take a seat or that they're not good enough, tell it to F off, gain control of the conversation, and take action against it. So quit listening to it, quit giving it power. You are in control. So if you got that little voice in your head, let's get rid of it. So thanks, Andy, for that and all the other tidbits you send off. Today, I've got Shaahin Cheyene on the line. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, Jim. How about yourself?
I'm good. What really stood out on your bio for me was all the Amazon discussion. All the things you've done there. I see you on the video. You've got your Amazon shirt on. And what a wonderful place to play ball is Amazon.
Day one, I tell people this all the time. People come to me oftentimes asking me how they get involved in Amazon. And then quickly you see them deflated. Oh, but it's too late. And I tell them, just like Bezos wrote in his first shareholder letter, it's still day one. There's so much opportunity. And there are going to be more millionaires and billionaires created every day on this incredible platform that Jeff Bezos has created, this incredible disruptor than any other e-commerce outlet for people to make money. It is the quickest, the easiest, the most powerful way, I believe, that you can create a predictable, recurring revenue stream without having to sell your hours, which is what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. I just launched a new website. It's called the 1776 Syndicate, and it's to help people that are running for office, any elected position nationally. And I thought, I want to have a resource page on there where they can find books, right? Because you're talking about stuff and it's like, oh, what's that book name? And then you refer to it and they're trying to write it down as fast as they can. So I created a whole page where all these books are at. Well, I realized there must be a referral program out there. Well, guess what? Amazon popped up top of page, sign up for their referral program, and you earn 4% of all the book sales if you're signed up for the affiliate program. I mean, talk about pennies coming through the door. If you sell a few books, why not, right?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. You look, that's one part of a bigger scheme, right? Yeah. I'm sure that's not going to be paying for your lifestyle.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but it's just another stream of revenue. I mean, better yet would be for you to create your own book. Better yet, I don't know if you have one, but better than that would be to create a product and private label it so you actually own that piece of real estate.
Yeah, no, I want to dig into all that. And yes, my book's coming out this week, so funny you should mention that. But no, hey, look, let's go back to some of your background, okay? I saw in your bio, your family came over during the Iranian Revolution in 1979. I love hearing stories of families coming to America because that is what America's all about. So maybe you could take us a little bit behind the scenes, where you grew up, how you grew up, and then ultimately we'll get back to this Amazon discussion.
Yeah, we were solid middle-class Iranian Jewish family growing up in Tehran. I was born in Iran, and life was seemingly going pretty well until the revolution. My folks, being Jews and kind of children of the Holocaust, were like, man, this might not go well for us here. Maybe better to bail.
Yeah.
So they left seeking their, a better life for us all. And we came to the United States through Germany and quickly realized that we were second-class citizens in the United States. Mm-hmm. We were now officially poor. as opposed to being middle class. The family structure was completely destroyed because it's a diaspora. Everybody was spread out all over the place. And my folks were working odd jobs. My dad was working at a pizza place. He worked at a dry cleaners, which he ended up working at for 30 plus years, and just trying to make ends meet. But what happened was they made one good financial decision. They bought a house. Somehow it was like the one house they could afford in a neighborhood that wasn't doing so well at that time. But all of a sudden, with Reaganomics, trickle down economics, all that stuff that was happening, the real estate market started booming in the generation after that, and the neighborhood picked up. So now here I am. I didn't speak a word of English coming to this country. I'm there all of a sudden going, man, look at all this wealth. Like, we didn't eat at restaurants. I didn't buy new clothes. Like, when we stood out front of our dad's dry cleaners waiting for somebody cool to walk in, it wasn't because we liked looking at cool people. It was because we were hoping that guy would fail on his bill and default on his clothes, because that's what we would wear the next season, the clothes people left behind. And I remember in school having one or two rich friends and then being like, hey, come over, and like giving me a menu and say, yeah, just order whatever you want. Me going, what is this magic? You can order food and somebody will bring it to you. Like, it blew my mind how that worked, because that's not how we live. My mom made every single meal. And when we didn't have enough, she would cut the burger in half, and my brother would get half and I would get half. And that's just how things went down. We did well with what we had. And that's how we did. We survived. Now I'm looking around me in our little neighborhood, and the guy next door's got a Porsche, and the guy down the street's got a Mercedes, and the houses are getting bigger and bigger, and we're living in this tiny house. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I want a piece of that. I want a piece of this American dream. How do I get that? And I went to my parents, and of course they did the fallback, which is, hey, be a doctor. That's what we know, which is, of course, for immigrants, the pinnacle of success. Like, to say my son or daughter's a doctor is like their holy grail. And I looked at that structure and I was like, man, this is bullshit. Like, I got to go to school for 8 years and then go into debt. And then they told me to go talk to the dude next door who was a doctor. And I looked at him and he was miserable. He was fat. He was bald. The kids were fat and bald. The wife was fat and bald. Everybody was yelling at each other. And I left. I said, this is it. I'm going to go seek my fame and fortune. Love you all. I'm out.
Yeah.
And I grabbed a backpack. Everything in the world that I could fit in that backpack that I could take with me was with me. And I left. I left my home. I left my family. And I didn't have many friends at that time. I didn't have any money. And I was sleeping in abandoned buildings, sleeping in an abandoned Lincoln Continental with the pages of Think and Grow Rich taped and almost every word highlighted, repeating it, reading books by Anthony Robbins, Dale Carnegie, all those great old-timey guys.
Yes. Yeah.
And hanging out at the community college because they had free food there. I came across a mentor. The mentor coached me, and I got involved in the electronic music scene, the rave scene, the dance scene that was really booming at that time. And I thought to myself, man, this is cool. Who's making the money here? And obviously it was the drug dealers. It wasn't the musicians or the people that own the property. So I thought, okay, well, that's easy. Let me do that, until I thought back to my adolescence, where I had attempted a life of junior crime by selling contraband at school, and realizing that I would always get caught and that I was really fucking bad at crime. Like, I was probably the single worst person at crime. And I remember the one lesson I got out of grade school before I left was that I was just bad at crime and I should not do crime.
Yeah,
like I could leave that. There was other people who were good at crime. So other kids, I'd be like, man, you never get caught. Me, I'd always get caught. So now 15 years old, I'm in the electronic music scene. I'm like, man, I'm not going to get involved in crime. It's just not for me. And I thought to myself, hey, what if I came out with an alternative to this party drug, ecstasy, that was happening at that time? And I did. I came out with a alternative to ecstasy called Herbal Ecstasy. I distributed it through an unusual distribution circuit that was untapped. I distributed it through the drug dealers. Why? I was at the right place at the right time. The supply of this incredible drug ecstasy, and by the way, I don't espouse the use of drugs or anything like that to anybody, but the supply of this drug had dried up. It was mostly coming from Europe, and it had dried up. And the drug dealers had nothing to sell. They were there in the clubs, literally sitting on their hands. And I came out with this alternative, which they weren't happy about initially, but was legal. It was natural. You couldn't get into trouble for it. And a lot of them soon started making more money selling my product than real drugs. And they became legitimized. They legitimized their businesses. They got legitimate territories. A lot of them opened up storefronts. They bought franchises from me. And before I knew it, we were making hundreds of millions of dollars, well documented through several articles. And by the time I was 18, maybe a little bit older than that, a little bit younger, I don't remember, we had broken over $1 billion in revenue. This is pre-internet, pre-social media, pre-cell phones. And here I am months earlier, living in abandoned cars, not having a place to rest my head, not having a warm meal to eat most nights. And now I've got a collection of exotic cars. I'm working pretty much all the time, maybe sleeping 2 hours a day. I remember I tell the story of falling asleep in my Lamborghini, drooling on the passenger seat, waking up and going into the office just to learn that Sam Donaldson, the Nightline reporter, was outside. Montel Williams wanted to have me on a show. London Observer, Newsweek. We were the it thing, because the news had broke that we had broke $1 billion in revenue. And one of the biggest investment banks wanted to take us public. From there, I went on to inventing the core technology for digital vaporization, which evolved to be all the vapes and e-cigs that you see today. I exited that in 2006 and then went on to the Amazon platform, looking at this incredibly disruptive thing that Bezos has built, seeing that, hey, this guy is not just this like nerdy Silicon Valley guy, this chump that everyone's saying he is. This guy's a disruptor. This guy's like Piggly Wiggly. He's doing what Piggly Wiggly did for retail and changing e-commerce forever. And I quickly got involved in that and decided, hey, I'm putting all my eggs in the Amazon basket and learning how to become the best. And so over the course of the next few years, I started doing it for Fortune 50s, Fortune 500s, teaching them how to put their brands on Amazon and how to get reviews into the top page and find a product. And then normal people started asking me, hey, this is awesome. How can I sell on Amazon? And I developed this course for anybody that's interested. It's FBAsellercourse.com. That's fulfillment by Amazon. And in fact, for everybody who's listening to your show, if you use the code Jim Riley in the subject heading, I will give you, it's normally $200. It's a 1-hour course, A to Z, everything about Amazon. I'm going to give it for free. You can email me directly. You're going to have it for free, no cost. My goal this year is to get 2,000 to 10,000 people starting Amazon businesses and to inspire them to create recurring revenue streams. That email, if it's okay to give it on the air.
Absolutely.
Jim, is going to be darkzess@gmail.com. That's DARKZESS@gmail.com. Email me. I'll get you the 1-hour course for free. Use the code Jim Riley.
That's awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, man.
You know, I'm thinking back at your story, like at 15 years old, you're in these clubs. And by the way, I spent a lot of time in those clubs. I was a regular at the Mayan there downtown Los Angeles. So
oh, no way. Okay.
Yep,
wow.
Yep, back in the day. Where did you find a supplier? You know, like here you are, you know, looking for food at the college campuses and found a niche, because I think oftentimes people don't know where to start and they don't realize the availability of so many things out there. The only limitation is your own creativity.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent question. So the answer to that is this, that I dropped out of school. I failed at school. I think I dropped out at like 8th grade, 9th grade. That's the length of my education. I have no degree. But what I had a degree on was getting my ass kicked every day at school. I thought, in fact, that's what you did at school. I thought you came to school to get your ass kicked because I got my ass kicked it was just the normal thing.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing. Every single time I got knocked down, I'd get back up. I didn't care how big the kid was. I didn't care how strong he was. I didn't care how many friends he had with him. I would always get up. I would not let them keep me down. And I feel